Something on everybody's mind is we all did the corona bump when we run into each other today. Very awkward. I'm not used to that yet, and I hope I never get used to it. But that's certainly, you can't get through the day without talking about this and how we deal with it. And Mr. Fall, as Director of the Office of Science for DOE, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the role that the national labs maybe could be playing and are playing in this whole effort to counter the COVID-D or COVID-19 coronavirus. We're not supposed to say coronavirus anymore because of Mr. Calvert, but I'm aware, and in fact, I'm going to be going to Richland next week to the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory, partly not just because it's in my district, but they are doing some things that are very, I think, potentially very important for this effort. As I understand, at the Environmental Molecular Science Laboratory, the EMSL, they are working on ways that they could assist in the, and I'm not a scientist, so excuse me for my stumbling through, but biomarker discovery efforts there that could be looking for signs of immune response in patients, antibodies that indicate that a patient is exposed even if they are asymptomatic. But it shows actively circulating viruses. So just a couple questions, and I'll let you expound because you're much more adverse to this. Is it true that current testing kits only identify whether a patient currently has an active virus versus someone who has previously been exposed? And how can these biomarkers assist with screening and testing? And then I'm also aware that PNNL's imaging capabilities could assist with the development of a vaccine. So do you know that, or could you speak to that potential as well?
Yes, I don't know about the testing kits, actually. I'll get back to you on that. I don't know the details of what they
I may learn next week, so I'll be able to tell you.
That's right. But what I can say is that, generally speaking, the paradigm for biomarkers is looking for derivative signs, if you will, biological signs of some underlying process, so that are maybe more accessible. Instead of having to take blood and do a blood test, you do a saliva test or maybe a skin test or something. This is the idea behind biomarkers. And absolutely, the Environmental Molecular Sciences Lab is positioned to do that work. As I mentioned earlier to the chairwoman, we have now organized this front door for the whole laboratory complex where questions like yours will put out to this committee of representatives for all the labs. And instead of, for example, going to, knocking on PNNL's door, we put it to the committee and find out actually which lab. We don't have a national biotechnology laboratory that can do this kind of thing. So this is sort of call it a virtual biotechnology laboratory where we have one front door and can reach out to all the capabilities of our laboratories. Pardon the third question, sir, was, yes, that's right.
The vaccine potential.
Yes, and of course, as you may know already, we have incredible capability in this country to rapidly develop candidate vaccines. PNNL could help with this. Our other laboratories could help with this. The trick for a vaccine is not development of it, and DARPA in particular has led efforts to quickly develop it's the clinical trials. And you can't, at this point, get around the idea that in order to safely roll out a vaccine to hundreds of millions or billions of people, you've got to do the clinical trials. Those take the time that Director Fauci has indicated, 12 to 18 months to get the clinical trials part done. I'd expect we'd have candidate vaccines very quickly through the existing programs that we already have.
To begin those trials.
That's right, exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you. And I think it's exciting that we have a lot of capability within the national lab system to be able to address something like this. So thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Congressman Newhouse. You remind me, in listening to Dr. Fall's answer there, that in this area of mental illness, I